I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. What's up, everybody? Whew. So much to discuss. So little time to discuss it in. Let's see here. Maybe if I say it all out loud, I'll remember everything I want to actually talk about. So, the Dem lawmakers who told federal agents, hey, you don't have to listen to um, illegal orders, those folks have been spared an indictment. There's also renewed concerns that the SAVE Act being pushed forward by the Republican Party and, I mean, Trump's not even really pushing the SAVE Act. He's wanting to go even further. But there are new concerns that it may open up opportunities for Republicans to purge married women from the voter rolls and maybe purge women in general from the voter rolls. It provides them with the opportunity to call into question any of their voting rights, basically, on the basis of their documents not lining up. So that'll be interesting to talk about. We've also got no news from the Guthrie family, except a couple of interesting little tidbits that will be, I think, interesting to talk about in general and as they relate to other things. Hi, Ignar. It's been a while since I've seen you in here. Glad to see you around. What's up, Kane? Taylor, hi. Oregon lawmakers are trying to restrict cannabis by making edibles capped at 10 milligram THC, period. Of course, think of the children excuse. Yeah, that's just stupid. That's just real dumb. That's real dumb. That is very stupid. Not least of all because all of these products already have, like, you're already required to sell them in child-proof containers. There's already a tremendous amount of, like, here's the thing I always wonder when cases like this come up, right? Whenever we're supposed to legislate something on the basis of it might affect the children, why are the parents never even in the conversation? Like, should we ban alcohol because parents could be stupid and could leave a bottle of booze lying around? And their kid could get alcohol poisoning from it? Should we ban tobacco because a kid could, in theory, get too much tobacco if they chose to interact with that product in the wrong way because their parent stupidly left it out where they could get to it? At what point does the parent's responsibilities play in to the standard of living that we're going to maintain in this country and the culture that we're going to have? Kids need to do drugs to be cool. I kind of agree, but not until they're at least in their teens, you know? You don't want to get them started too young. Parents are never considered for the responsibility of their children. If anything, it's the complete opposite. Yeah, that's the thing I have such a big problem with when it comes to all of these discussions about what we're going to ban, what we're going to legalize, what we're not going to legalize. Anytime the ability of children to harm themselves with it comes up, I cannot help but feel like the parent's responsibility is being completely looked over. Like, why do we never have that impulse? Why is our impulse always ban this, ban that, restrict this, restrict that, and never encourage people to parent their fucking kids again? Your kid can't get a hold of a your kid can't get a hold of a high dose cannabis edible unless you leave a high dose cannabis edible out where your kid can get to it. You look a teacher that I would never want any kids to be around. I don't think you've ever seen a teacher in your entire life, my friend. I've never met a teacher as long as I've lived who wore a punk style patch vest with lighter trophies on it. But hey, maybe you've met some really awesome, fascinating teachers. Maybe you just had a really wonderful history teacher in your life. Who am I to say? Come on, Gord. You know what? We will. Yeah. There we go. That should keep most of the spam bots out at the very least. Do you love Satan? I don't even believe in Satan. I just have the fucking spirit board up there because it scares Christians and other symbol-minded people. Hello. Do you listen to At the Drive-In? I like At the Drive-In. They're not one of my biggest fans in the fucking world. I'm not like the biggest fan ever. What happened to your chin? I shaved it off. I cut it shaving, and I flayed open the skin real bad. Make sure you guys hit that like button and that subscribe button. If you subscribe, that will let you speak in the chat. If you like, that just helps the stream be reached by more people, which is really good for my ego. Makes me feel real good. It's also pretty nice for my wallet. No, but seriously, hit that button. Really, truly, do it. Do it now! Your 60-year-old grandma looks better? Well, go compliment her then. Why are you telling me about it? You think I give a shit what your old grandma looks like? By the way, what little love you must have for your grandparents to use them as the basis of an insult. Maybe vaping is a bad choice. Maybe you should be more aware of what is actually going on in the content that you're watching. Because it was not a vape that I just hit, my friend. My grandma was like the one from Squidbillies. Now that I can get behind. By the way, what do you guys think of these cute little dangly downs? I've been doing my hair a little bit differently, and I think it looks better. Whoa, by the way. Wait, never mind. Fuck, I hate it when that happens. Does that ever happen to you guys? Like, you have a thought, it comes to your head, you're like, thought. And before you can even, like, you're on the lead up to the thought. And as you're about to say it, it slips your mind. Big Rip, hope you're doing good. I'm good. I'm great. Thank you, caller Kickster. You're stoned? Well, not really. No, I wish. I've taken one little hit from a bowl that I just packed with resin and the scrapings of my grinder. So no, not quite. Not quite yet. I call that the Pearl Davis. Stop! Wait, the dangly downs or the fucking the forgetting and being a stupid bitch? If it's the forgetting and being a stupid bitch, then yeah, for sure. That's a just pearly things trait. 100%. Dude, Taylor, did you see that Just Pearly Things versus Anna Kasparian? I don't even like Anna Kasparian much anymore, but man, she ripped Hannah a new one. Or what is her name? What is her fucking name? Look, I've already forgotten it. I always want to call her Hannah Pearl Davis, but I think her name is actually just Pearl Davis. Of course I did. Yes. Oh my god. Taylor, I feel like me and you are, like, now that we're talking again, we could, like, oh man. Would you ever be down to come on stream? Real talk? You can say no. I'm just curious. I think her name is Hannah Pearl. Is it really Hannah Pearl Davis? Okay, I'm not crazy then. I'm not crazy then. Awesome. That's great. Scrapings with Grinder, LOL, been there. I remember them days. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't make the fucking YouTuber big bucks. I'm incredibly privileged to be able to be self-employed and work as a fucking YouTuber, whatever that is. I'm really glad to have this position and to be monetized on this platform, but I don't make big buku bucks. So, you know, I paid my bills and did not have a whole lot left over for, well, extras in this last pay cycle. And that's just how it is sometimes, you know, that's how it is for every fucking American. It's just what you got to deal with sometimes. But you know what? There will be another day. There will be another front. There will be another re-up. The circle keeps on spinning, spinning, spinning. I don't keep up with things like I should, so I don't know what I could contribute to a stream. Honestly, that's fair. That's completely fair. I don't know, but I just think, you know what? Honestly, like I said, there's no pressure or anything, but it's because like you say I don't keep up with things like I should, but and I know you were never like the kind of person to be constantly watching the news, but you and I have always had a very similar tendency, and you had it before I did. I want to tell everybody in this chat, Taylor, despite being a little younger than I am, was political before I was. Taylor was the first person I ever had a meaningful political conversation with in my life. It was about the election of Mitt Romney. She was saying she was hoping that Barack Obama won a second term because the other option was Mitt Romney, and he was really, really violently anti-gay. And this was back when I was like 13 or 14. Taylor was like 12 or 13. So this goes back to when we were fucking like little kids, basically. But you knew about this shit even before I did, and we've both been able to, throughout our lives, keep up with the news more or less with what's going on without like engorging ourselves in it. Now, at this point in my life, I do kind of engorge myself in it because it's kind of my job, doing this YouTube shit, but I don't I feel like spend as much time watching, listening to, or paying as much attention to the news as a lot of people in my position do, and I don't feel like I've ever spent as much time as the amount of knowledge that I'm able to pull out about it would suggest. I don't know. Maybe I just absorb things really well. The only thing you and gorge yourself on is processed food. Hey, if you're going to use speech to text, I'm just going to give you a really quick piece of advice. Go through and spell check first, because otherwise you end up typing gibberish in my chat that I can barely understand. Okay? Just letting you know. Now, with all that being said, sure, okay, fair enough. But I've got two problems with this. Number one, you don't know what got me fat. And number two, you don't know what stage of my weight loss I'm at. For all you know, this is the fattest I've ever been. And for all you know, this is the skinniest I've been in 10 years. Which of those is true? I don't know. I guess you'll just have to look through my channel and figure it out, won't you? The only thing that can get you fat is eating more calories than you can burn. Sure, but there's a number of ways to eat more calories than you can burn. Their specific accusation was that I eat a ton of processed food. I just want to clarify and tell them that, yeah, I have eaten a lot of processed food in the last 5 years, but the fucking like 21 years of my life that got me fat in the first place were not predicated on bagel bites and McDonald's. I grew up in a southern family, a country ass family where we fucking cooked our meals at home. And I mean I used to live with one of our chatters, Taylor, here in the chat. I don't know if she's still in here, but she can vouch. I know how to cook. I'm pretty good at cooking. The thing that got me fat is not overly processed food. It's good, fattening, home cooked victuals. That's what got me fat. We're talking red beans and rice. We're talking mashed potatoes and gravy. We're talking fried chicken. That's what got me fat. Not ice cream and Snickers. Fucking cornbread and fucking hash browns and that kind of thing. Don't mischaracterize my fat. It makes me seem like a far lazier person than I am, all right? And I kind of like the fact that I am fat but still pretty active and doing stuff. I would say between 6 to 7 hours of my day on my feet doing something, despite the fact that I don't work a traditional job, which is pretty awesome if you compare it to the average sedentary American with a desk job. Have you had black southern cooking? Of course I have. Of course I have. Um, it's kind of hard to, like, I have had like southern cooking that I knew for sure was made by black people, but it's also kind of hard to tell when you're eating like soul food in the South. Like, there are foods that objectively came from the black community, and if it's a food that came from the black community, mainly came from the black community, and it's a recipe or a style of cooking that was also mainly associated with black people in soul food, are you eating, like, are you engaging in black culture if you make a meal like that as a white person? I don't know. I'm not nearly enough of an SJW to know the answer on that one, nor am I black and therefore qualified to make at least some sort of assumptive statement. But whatever the answer is, I love it. Whatever the answer is, I'm down for it. I want more of it. I like it. Play that guitar. If anybody wants to hear me play the guitar, please consider donating $5 or more. I have lowered my prices once again. So if you want to hear some songs, $5 or more. If you really, really insist, I can play you a sampler. But you extend a little faith in me, I'll extend a little faith in you. How about that? I am a bit overweight, so yeah, I'm a hell of a lot more than a bit overweight. I'm fat as the fucking moon is round, but you know, I'm I'm working on it. What else am I supposed to say? Are you a demon? Yes. Ah! I think I scared the dog. Tender meats, amazing greens on other sides. They're constantly smoking meats in their smokers. It's legit. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Ignore? I've had Black Soul Cooking before, but not Southern style. There's a good barbecue place in Portland that's black owned. That's legit fire and goated. Oh, okay, Ignore. Now I get what you're talking about. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, like, there are a ton of Southern black cooks that have moved up to various areas in the West and the North to get away from the racism and heat and humidity of the Deep South and create new business opportunities for themselves in places that are a little more friendly to darker complexion. It sucks to me that so much of the South is proved unhospitable for Black people, but thankfully, also there are giant, wide pockets of it that are completely hospitable. It's just not usual. I let my phone die because I'm retarded. I hope I didn't lose everybody. Buddy, you aren't going to heaven. Maybe read your little book a little closer. Yeah, 100%. Xanothea. It's always the ride or dies that are waiting for me to come back, just awaiting the Queen's return. No doubt in their minds, no question in their hearts, just a staunch willingness to come back and join us here in the land of the living. Oi, oi, oi! Phoebe's Chicken Alfredo, y'all don't know. You flatter me. Nah, it ain't that damn good now. I tell you what, though, Taylor. I be cooking a red beans and rice recipe these days, and it's even better than my chicken Alfredo, if you can believe it. It's a real New Orleans recipe. Okay, so Taylor, you ain't never gonna believe this shit, okay? Now, of all the people I got this recipe from, I can make this a trick question. Of all the people I got this recipe from, I'll tell you two things about them. One, they're from Louisiana, and two, they're a friend of mine. Who do you think I got the recipe from? Do you have any guesses? Remember enough about me to have any guesses. Now, I've already told you it's a trick question. You're probably just going to get mad at me for asking a bad faith question, which is valid. I deserve it. How's you make chicken Alfredo? Okay, so you start out with a little butter in that pan, a little olive oil, all right? And you toast off that garlic, like a tablespoon worth of minced garlic, freshly minced if you've got it. You let that toast off in that butter and oil mixture until for about a minute. You just want it to be nice and like, oh, perfect. Then you add in an equivalent flour to the oil. You add it in slowly and whisk it in so that it starts to form up. It's going to form up into these clumps and then become a little less easy to work with, but then you'll add milk to it and you whisk that in slowly and it'll form into a bigger clump and you'll eventually get that to where it's not clumping anymore. And you've formed it into a nice, wonderful bechamel sauce. And after that point, you add a cup of Parmesan cheese, uh, honestly, if you really want to go all out, don't just use Parmesan. Use Parmesan and then like a little bit of mozzarella or like a little bit of provolone or something, you know? Um, Lends a nice quality. If you've got Gouda, that's a really good thing to add in a little bit of. Because it almost becomes more like mac and cheese at this point, honestly. But like the dominant flavor is still garlic and Parmesan cheese, so it's still really good. Once all of that has come together, oh, another thing you want to know about using the Parmesan, you're probably not going to want to go get a whole fucking wheel of Parmesan cheese. They're like $3,000. That's before you even include the tariff and all that shit, right? So you're probably not going to have Parmigiano Reggiano lying around. But what you might be able to go get is a wedge of Parmesan from your local Aldi. And that will be way better than the like little shredded bags of Parmesan or something like that you would get. It'll melt better, it'll taste better, it'll hold up better. It's fucking just use it. And if you can't, then get the biggest flakes you can find. You want the least amount of surface area on those pieces of cheese if you're using pre-grated cheese, because all of it is going to be covered in this very thin, like imperceivably thin layer of corn flour, basically. And you don't want that corn flour to be, you want as little of that corn flour to end up in the final result as possible. It lends a strange flavor to the sauce. It can make it bind up. It doesn't do good things. It can actually make the Parmesan a lot harder to melt. So you want big flakes if you're going to get Parmesan in the flaked form, in a grated form. You don't want to if you're making Parmesan Alfredo, do not use the canned shit. Don't use the canned Parmesan. You will fuck up that sauce so fucking bad. Your fucking own mother won't have anything to do with you in the kitchen after that. It's just don't do it. It's a nightmare decision. No, don't do it. You fucking get the shredded shit, or you get the block if you can. And if you can't get either of those, then I guess go with the thin strand Parmesan. But for Christ's sakes, do not get granulated Parmesan, because granulated Parmesan has the literal maximum amount of surface area for flour to be covering it. Well, granulated Parmesan is like 33% corn flour. It's not, don't do it. Miss Triple, dude, I'm always wondering if you'd pop in over here. You can rinse the cheese in a mesh strainer and dry it off? Oh, I never thought about that. I suppose you could. I mean, there are still probably flavor considerations to consider if you go from like shredded to like a good block of like a Wisconsin Parmesan, but still, that's valid. Actually, that's really good advice. I'm making me hungry. Sorry. Yeah, I'm a really good cook. So to the person earlier who was impugning me for being fat for eating too many fast foods, I wish I could tell you that that was the fact, but the actual truth of the matter is that my family is just full of good cooks, and I have learned that myself and continued on that trend for a very long time. It's you know, a lifestyle with consequences. What's happening? Oh, I guess we're just talking about food right now. Um, at some point, I do want us to talk about this. Um, sorry, I'm having a little indigestion. So you remember those Democratic lawmakers about 4 months ago that posted a video telling U.S. soldiers and U.S. federal agents not to obey unlawful orders, right? They have been spared an indictment by the grand jury. Now, this is probably because there's actually nothing illegal about telling soldiers not to obey illegal orders. Not only is there nothing illegal about it, it's literally in the fucking training manuals. Like, soldiers are literally supposed to be trained not to follow illegal orders. The Nuremberg trials established the same precedent, by the way. It's pretty much been normalized since the Nuremberg trials that you cannot use the fact that you're ordered to do something as an excuse for doing something. Which is why it's so important to tell soldiers not to obey illegal orders, because sometimes they are the last line of moral defense for the sanctity of a country's moral code. Crazy how that was controversial. Yeah, 100%. I don't get how people looked at that and were like, dude, I feel like 2016 America would have looked at that and been like, whatever, libs, shut up. Come on now. Whatever. Like, there still would have been like a general kind of like cattiness out of the right, but this like attempts to literally have them fucking criminally charged, I just don't feel like that would have come out of an America 10 years ago. I feel like that this is the result of an overly politicized and like uh, overly authoritarian tendency um, that we have to deal with in some way. We've got to fucking start talking about it at the very least. Why is there a satanic symbol behind you? Uh, um, I think about this a lot, and sometimes I think about getting rid of it, but then I think about this. George Carlin once said, to leave symbols to the symbol-minded. If it bothers you that much, consider that you might be a part of their number. A pentagram isn't inherently a satanic symbol. I don't even bring that up anymore. What is the point of telling people anything when you realize, like, a lot of times when people I hate that things are this way, but there is no longer a common thread of reality that runs through our lives. You know, like every Tom, Dick, and Harry you meet has a completely separate idea of what real is and isn't. So I can tell them all day long that that's not a fucking that it's a pagan symbol, not a satanic symbol, and maybe it'll make a difference for 1 out of every 5. But I would say for 4 out of 5 of them, they're just going to hear me say that. It's going to go in one ear, out the other, and it's going to make absolutely no impression on their brain whatsoever. The moment someone says something is demonic, I'm done reading their comment. I literally don't think I should give people with that kind of rhetoric any more attention, because it does seem like the most barbaric and backwards idea to continue to like be championing in 2026. It's one thing to be like an ideological Nazi or whatever. There's plenty of room for us to have a debate and a discourse on why you're wrong about this, that, or the other thing when it comes to matters of opinion. But like, if you've just rejected like forthright the premise of reality or a premise of reality. What words will I speak that should get through to you? By the way, if you're liking the stream, please consider hitting that like button. That is a cost-free way that you can help without doing very much at all. Just double tap your screen or hit the button, whichever one's available. And if you've got a little money burning hole in your pocket and you want to help out a cool-ass trans girl making money online through the YouTubes, consider sending a super chat or a Cash App donation. You can find that down below, along with all of my other links. I've hit the button. Thank you, post. Thank you. How do you dislike the stream? It's up there on the top right. It's the three little dots. The hot dog menu. The option's there. A lot of people don't think it is. But it is there. It is really there. Unfortunately, YouTube counts it all as the same thing. YouTube doesn't really care if you dislike the stream or like it, you know? I love doing the sub-only mode sometimes because that monkey button is the best for algorithm boosting. Dude, people have no idea how effective it can be. It really is nice, though. Like, right now, we have a chat that is consistent entirely of people who genuinely want to have a conversation. That doesn't mean we're going to be talking about interesting things the whole time, but that does make the content, I think, a little bit more watchable. You're offended? Oh, well, why are you offended? What did I say? What did I say? I don't know what I did. If y'all want to talk shit, fuel me. I 100% agree, Ignar. So many forget to unsubscribe, so it just helps with growth. Well, yeah, I don't ever tell them to unsubscribe. You notice that's never come up in my spiel. You notice that's never been a part of the marketing pitch. Who is Margarine Green? Never heard of them? I don't know. Some cat lady from North Carolina or something. I don't know. But I thought her name was Marjoram. Marjoram Tamer Brown. I'm sorry. I'm retarded. I'm really stupid. The fact that I have any viewers is a miracle of God. What happened to your chin? I flayed it open with a razor. You know, one of those, not purposefully, on accident. You know, those like, okay, so like I've used Hello razors for years and the back has never had like a little straight edge section or like a straight razor section, but they changed the design of them and I caught myself on a down swipe. Like I didn't mean to even contact my face with the backside of the razor, but I did, and oh my god, did it hurt. Oh, it's still fucking it still hurts. Unironically, it still is fucking painful. I just hope I don't have like some gangly ass scar for the rest of my life because of that shit. Oh. Can we not talk about it? Can we stop talking about my damn chin? It just hurts to talk about. Literally, it hurts to talk about it. How long have you been a Satanist? 10 minutes. I converted 10 minutes ago to piss you guys off, and I'm going to immediately deconvert when I get off the stream. Scars are cute, though. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. You guys are chill. It's all fine. It's chill. It's chill. But I don't like... I don't have a very high pain tolerance, number one. And number two, I am very sensitive about my face. Not like about how it looks necessarily, but how like the touch, you know, like for example, having changed my hair like this is kind of hard for me. It's like on a sensory level because I can feel the little danglies touching my skin. And I know that sounds crazy because it's like, what do you mean? Your entire hair touches all of, like, it touches your skin. What? That doesn't make any sense. But it's like, it takes me a long time. Eventually, I will get used to it. I can acclimate myself. But, like, just with this cut, I'm finally, like today, it doesn't hurt as bad. I'm not thinking about it as much. I'm not touching it as much. It's not as itchy. But, ugh, man, ugh. Just an ugly fucking scar is gonna be there, and I don't like it. Mortimer Seamstress Blue. Dude, MTG's name just breaks down even further. You're so far from God, I could see it, brother. You need to come back because he loves you. God is a woman and I am too. So how about you just, like, eat a muffin and think about what Jesus would want you to do with the sinners in your life. Certainly it's not condemn them and judge them. What are you doing? I am sitting here talking to a live stream of 78 people, waiting for them to give me 11 more likes so I can hit the 50 likes button and feel good about myself for the first time in a month. No, I'm kidding. I'm clearly a narcissist who feels good about myself most of the time, but I still want those 50 likes. Is this a character you're playing? No. No, I'm this batshit crazy 24/7, if you can believe it. Just ask Taylor. I mean, I'm definitely more open and honest and like expressive with myself and with more people and more often than I used to be, but largely my manner of expression hasn't really changed all that much. Like I'm a woman now as opposed to like 10 years ago when I was still boy moding, so there's that. But I was a woman the whole time. I was just boy moding before, so it's not that much of a change even there. Worse, it's authentic. Nice. That's good. That's good. What is a woman? A person who identifies as one. Okay, what is a woman? I feel like we can answer this in the same way that the United States court system answers the question, what is profanity? It's kind of hard to define, but you know it when you see it. That's my favorite definition, and I'm going to use it going forward. My definition for woman? Oh, that's simple. I just default to the same definition that the United States Supreme Court system uses for profanity. It's a little difficult to define, but you know them when you see them. Take politics out of things. You may have a mental illness, brother. You are a really parasocial weirdo for sitting around in an internet person's chat waiting to get their attention so you can tell them all about the mental illness that you, some internet non-sophisticate who I know has never gone to a day of college, has diagnosed me with. I'm sorry, I'm not interested in hearing your diagnosis, professor. Do you like ice? No. Fuck ice. Ice out. Get the fuck, be done with them. Literally, Gestapo fucking agents pouncing around America, knocking on random people's doors, kicking down random people's doors, looking for any brown person that might happen to be there and hasn't been to immigration court in a couple of days, or that they couldn't catch while they were there. That's another thing that's been happening. People getting detained literally minutes after an immigration judge signs a piece of paperwork saying they can stay for 2 more years or 4 more years. They don't give a fuck. It's not about citizen or non-citizen. It's not about path to citizenship or no path. It's about immigrants. And don't let any single person tell you otherwise. If it wasn't, they wouldn't be going so hard after regular American citizens. They wouldn't be detaining and deporting people who have multiple fucking, like, multiple docket entries from recent times, sometimes within minutes recent, from judges allowing them to stay longer periods of time. These are illegal, focused actions meant to disrupt mainly blue cities, but also immigrant communities more broadly, and in my opinion, meant to divide the American worker one against the other in pursuit of a capital-laden agenda. Pretty much like everything else that happens, but in this case, it's like affecting people's real lives and hurting them every single day. And it seems like a lot of Americans are just kind of blithe to it. There's plenty of people who are like, I don't really like what's going on, but what power do I have? T-Stem with the $5. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. If anybody else would like to donate, please consider doing so. I really do appreciate it. You guys are the reason I'm able to do this. Consider sending to my Cash App. That is actually the preferred way to get donations, simply because I can use it instantly, and it is not it like YouTube doesn't take their fee out of it. So consider donating via that. You can find that down in the description below. You can also use Super Chat like T-Stem just did. That's a super effective way to do it as well. Now I'm going to read their comment like I will do for yours if you want to donate. Imagine just living your life in parallel to other people, just living their life with no contact or overlap and being mad at 1 a.m. about it. GFSF. I don't remember what GFSF means. Good fun, safe fun, maybe? I don't know. I don't know what it means, but I appreciate it. And you're 100% right. There are people that have so little going on in their life, so little going for them in general, that they really legitimately spend a profound amount of their time trolling online about people just living their lives, doing shit that ain't never gonna affect them. My choice of fashion is never going to affect a single person in this chat. My political attitudes are unlikely to affect you. My social attitudes are unlikely to affect you. And even if you do see my trans queer ass out somewhere in public, what fucking harm from society comes of that, other than that you get mad? I'm sorry, but you personally getting angry is not societal harm, you baby. You literal child. In fact, you know what? That's an insult to children, because my 1-year-old son seems to have more social awareness than some of you guys do. When you get so mad at me for just being a trans woman, living my life online, making content that you don't have to participate in if you don't want to. My top tip: if you're a baby trans, leave the country if you can, find community if you can't. Yep. Paxman, you know. You know. Does your son call you mom or dad? He doesn't call me anything because he's, again, 1. He's a year old. Do you have another $5 I can have? The DNC. Well, you know what? I wish I was the DNC, because they are more effective fundraisers than I. Hello, Phoebe. It's me, Mark. Oh, what's up, Mark? I remember you from the other day. You look like Homer Simpson in that one episode with the moo-moo on. Bro, you need to look up the definition of moo-moo and how it's spelled, because you just committed a crime against English. You just committed a dire crime against English. How about the win for KC? Mayor said no detention center? Nice. That is really good to hear, Taylor. Awesome vest. Love the patches. Thank you. They're pretty cool, aren't they? I like them, at least. A lot of other people do, too. It's good to hear that. Speaking of good local wins, there's a town somewhere in North Mississippi called Byhalia that just recently decided not to allow ICE to put a warehouse there. Well, they already have a warehouse there, but ICE was about to start building it into a concentration camp, basically. And through local pressure, this effort has been stymied, and ICE is no longer able to use that. By the way, we've gotten to 52 likes. Thank you guys for getting us up to our likes goal. You guys are so fucking awesome for that, and I love you all tremendously and dearly. Thank you a ton. Gotta wait for the train to pass. Sorry about that. Can't help it. Newsom is such a clown. Well, we fucking 100% agree there. I know that much. Let's get to 100 likes. Let's see if we can do it. I don't think we will. I don't think we've got enough momentum left on the stream, but if we could, that'd be cool. we can get up to 100 likes. We need a democratic government. What would be a democratic government? Please talk about this. I'm a youth trans and youth trans person, and my city government funding has been cut for gender affirming care. It's happening all across the country, and it's happening in more places than people know about. It's not just happening in right-wing states. I mean, I live in Mississippi, where gender affirming care for youth has never really been a thing, as far as I know. Um, Mississippi being the backwards and bigoted place it is, it's of course not going to accept standard medical science when it comes to things like this. Prefers to um, we prefer, as Southerners, to defer to an ancient book of biblical legends for our morality, which is why we believe that jerking off onto the ground deserves a death sentence, and that you should fuck your daughters if you get drunk enough. Good old biblical morality, that. But with all that being said, people need to start being aware of this shit, and people need to start being loud, proud, open trans advocates again, because we are not going to win this battle by kowtowing to the straighties and the cisgender people that want to. Not everyone. It's not like every single person that's straight or cis is this way, but the people who want to normalize transphobia again need to be fought back against with loud, visceral, visible queerness. The original queer movement did not win with small moves and politeness. The original queer movement was able to gain so much success, so much traction, so much of a public following by screaming slogans like, "We're here, we're queer, get used to it." We threw bricks. We had riots. We marched through city centers looking gay as fuck, holding up gay as fuck signs, talking about gay as fuck shit. And through long decades of exposure therapy, these people were made to realize that they indeed do have to accept us as part of their society, because the constraints of a modern indefinitely. You must either choose liberalism or fascism. You must either choose the direction that eventually leads you to the beautiful communist utopia, or you must choose the direction that leads you to the disgusting, horrible fascist dystopia. And through concerted effort and widespread visibility, we were able to convince most Americans that gay marriage should be legal. Not only that it should be legal, but that it's actually worth voting against somebody if they don't support it. At this point, the Republican Party's line on gay marriage is that gay marriage is fine. There might be some fringe elements on the right who want to see it undone, but Trump himself has come out in support of gay marriage multiple times, both on the campaign trail and as president. This is because the gay movement was, at the very least, successful at establishing that baseline level of systemic acceptance, and now it's unquestionable. It's even less questionable than some would argue that it's less questionable than abortion was, because even abortion was able to be struck down by this conservative Supreme Court. Now, maybe a Obergefell v. Hodges will be struck down at some point too, but it's not an element of their rhetoric the way it used to be in the lead up to it being legalized or in the immediate aftermath of it being legalized. There will come a day when trans issues are the same way. There will come a day when eventually trans people are protected in some way as a class, the same way lots of minorities are. And when that day comes, there will probably be people arguing against it on the other side, on the right, for a while. But there will eventually come a day or they will have to accept, and we're already starting to see this, by the way. We're already starting to see this. The moderate right position on transgender people is to believe that adults have the right to live however they want, and that it's most polite to refer to them how they want to be referred, but that minors shouldn't be allowed to receive gender affirming care, which I still think is a kind of backwards position. I don't think it's based on science, but that's the moderate Republican position, and I would consider it pretty progressive on the whole. And I'm fine with it. Certainly, I'm more fine with it than I am someone who's actively looking to oppress trans people, like the fringes of the right are. Like, actively looking to, like, oppress everyone, all of us, universally, like they want to do away with us as a class. I still think that it's arguably genocidal to deny trans youth care, but know this: we are fighting a winning battle, and the ingredients to our continued success is loud, unapologetic support for the cause. Puberty blockers have no downsides, while the multiple-year extensive psychological battery decides that the person should transition. Reversing puberty is longer than delayed puberty. That's another good point to bring up. The psychological process that lots of Western countries make you go through in order to determine whether or not you are in fact trans and therefore do need puberty blockers is sometimes it takes so long that you actually start your puberty before you can start puberty blockers, and so you end up like stopping it too early, and there's like, you don't get the same benefit of the outcome, and um, not only that, but you are spending all of this time in this like really taxing, grueling, therapeutic process, when the alternative could just be letting the person go through that process while assuming, okay, puberty blockers are the best guide for now. They have no downsides, like you said. In some limited cases, there may be some instances of like if you're like a assigned male at birth and you get on puberty blockers, but then you decide like at some point, or you and your doctors come to the decision that it's not right for you, then you get off of them. You might be like an inch or two shorter, but whatever. Like, it is not true that everything is based on height. I'm sorry. I know that sounds rich coming from me, who's like 6'1", but you know, I don't think my dating success has been predicated on my height. I guess Taylor can tell me if I'm wrong. Maybe she did just date me for the fact that I was tall, needed me to reach high things. No, that can't be true. That can't be true. I'm not going to say why I know that can't be true, but that cannot be true. I know for a fact that cannot be true. I know for an irrefutable fact that can't be true. I'm not short, bitch. Well, that's what I remembered. That's one of the things I remembered, but then I remembered something else, too. Okay, I'm just going to say it. Colin was shorter than you are. But yeah, Taylor's not even short, so I don't know why I used her as an example. I guess because you're the only person who's like dated me that's like regularly in my chat, you know? If Paige hung out in here, I'd invoke her sometimes, but she doesn't, so. Phoebe, can you please say Rick is a worthless little piggy boy, please? What? Rick is a worthless little piggy boy. There you go. I tried to make it sound sultry. Yeah, there are no winners in debate, just lots and lots of loud losers. You argue with a screen, not a human? I'm willing to debate on good faith? Bro, you are taking this way too seriously. I'm literally just streaming. Argue with me in the chat, or find me on one of these desktop streams that I do. Eventually, they'll be more common. Is it reverse transphobic if I want to be oppressed and humiliated by trans people? Yes. That is reverse transphobia. No, I think that's just like a little bit chasery, but it's okay. It's cool. It's hot. It's fine. It's all right. You'll debate who? It's some fish. What do you mean you'll debate him? Who are we talking about? You can delay male puberty if someone is on the fence to a real measure. Undoing male puberty is a facial reconstruction, possibly shaved larynx, further minor surgeries. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm trying to cover all my bases here and recognize that there's like one possible minor thing that may not even be a downside. It's like on the one hand, you could have someone who is completely subject to a male puberty and ends up coming out as trans like not long after they finish that puberty, and now they've got to undo all of this growth that has already happened in order to feel like whole. Now they might not, like depending on how they developed and um, their particular phenotype, but a lot of people are going to have to. It just seems like the benefits to allowing widespread prescription of puberty blockers for people that suspect they are trans would be a way better option than a grueling psychological process that then maybe leads to that. I do think that there needs to be a psychological process to help people figure out whether or not their feelings interest in the concept of gender and maybe a little bit of confusion surrounding it, or whether they amount to like gender dysphoria that needs to be addressed with coming out and living as one's authentic self. Because I do think that there are probably people who like are children that just like get interested in the subject of being trans, and it is not hard for a parent to misconstrue the intent of a child. So I could see there being some like necessity to have like a kid like, okay, let's take you to a couple of appointments. Okay, so you're not really trans, you're just like really fascinated by gender, and you feel like it shouldn't really matter, and you just want to dress however you want, but you don't really feel like you don't resent the fact that you have a penis or anything like that. And it's like, no, no, no. And you don't mind being called a boy then. And it's like, no, I mean, I wouldn't mind being called a girl either, but I don't really care either way. In that case, you're probably non-binary, frankly, but at that point, that person might not need puberty blockers because they might not need to be blocked from going through puberty. Um, there are lots of situations that could arise, though, and most of them are going to, if you allow people to access puberty blockers if they suspect themselves to be trans, and there's like a baseline level of clinical agreement with that, then I think you just improve outcomes for everybody. Very simple, very good, very easy to do, very laudable. Yeah, that's a nice word. Laudable. You there, defend thine ideologies. Them lawyers, dog. Lawyers? What now? How long have you been playing guitar? 11 years. Phoebe, I proclaim as of today, I'm Melanie Trump. Okay, Melanie. I'm going to hold you to that. I'm going to hold you to that. I don't think you like this. You're playing this game with the wrong trans girl. My post-ironic ass will keep this up till the end of time. You are Melania from now on. The person whose username is Mark Choate will now forever be known as Melania. You cannot refer to them with any other name. They have declared this to us, and we will take them seriously. And we will demonstrate just how easy it is to do. They didn't say their pronouns, so I'm just going to assume they, them until they tell me differently. If you're into post irony, then you will love this fun fact. The inventor of petroleum jelly ate a spoonful of it every day and lived to be 96 despite that. I know, dude. It's one of the wildest fucking little factoids about petroleum jelly. Really about petroleum as a product, which is not even something we think about a whole lot as like people living in a Western democracy with widespread access to modern manufacturing techniques, you know? I'm going to probably get off here in not too long. I'm trying not to stay overly long on these streams, but I'm going to give one last pitch for donations. If you've enjoyed the stream tonight, or if you enjoy my channel in general, and you feel like you've got a little money burning a pocket in your burning a hole in your pocket, consider sending it my way. I could always use it, and this is an audience-funded channel that relies on the donations of people just like you to continue our broadcasting efforts, if you can call it that. My sleep procrastination needs you. Well, let us all go to sleep at a more reasonable time tonight, shall we? I'm not going to go that way. Did I watch the halftime show with Bad Bunny? No, I didn't. And I didn't watch the MAGA one either. I gotta be real with you, Chief. Unless there's food in the fucking equation, I don't want no damn Super Bowl. You got grilled wings and some celery stalks and some fucking baby carrots and some pulled pork. Now we're talking. No, you know what's sad? I would be a great Super Bowl host on every aspect except the fucking game itself. I would literally have to be babied through like understanding the game, and it would probably eventually at some point devolve into me being drunk and high and just like gushing over the hottest quarterback. You know, like it probably would not turn out to be like your efforts would be wasted. It would all be in vain. I would know not a fucking thing more about football when I left. Or when you left, rather. Because I was talking about me hosting. I don't know how it works, so I'm too afraid to ask at this point. Yeah, me too. That's how I feel. Well, I'm not too afraid to ask, but I'm like too stupid to retain it. Like my like no filter autistic bimbo energy carries me through the asking of the question, but it also unfortunately prevents me from actually retaining any of the any of the answers. But I can like sit there and flutter my eyelashes pretty while you tell me about it. I can act like it's making a lick of literally like the worst and best person to ask to host a Super Bowl. I'm gonna do it eventually one of these days. I really want to do it. I just need to find some cool people that are into football because I want to be able to, you know, revel in my own stupidity. It really is one of my favorite activities. Dude, you know how some people are really insecure when they're around people that know more than them? I'm not. I just fawn. I'm just like, neat. That's cool. Tell me all about it. While I sit here and don't know anything. Unless it's like boring. I guess there's probably some things that wouldn't be fun to do with, but like I can usually revel in my own stupidity when I'm around somebody who's like really enthralled about something that's widely understood, or at least like usually considered pretty easy to understand. I kind of get a kick out of like not knowing and of the reactions people get as they're like walking me through the process of trying to make me know this unknowable knowledge. Well, why do we need sex is one thing. Like, we don't need sex. Sex is just a, you know, somewhat mutable biological characteristic. Gender is the thing that we could do without and be nothing but better. Gender is a giant list of prescriptions in regards to your behavior and appearance that are to be adhered to on the basis of your having been born with a penis or a vagina. That is what gender is. Um, it's kind of stupid. Like when you lay out what gender actually is in philosophical terms, it kind of reveals how utterly stupid it is. Like why would you have like an entire list of behaviors and appearance expectations that you would lay on somebody based merely on the fact, because think about it, it's in some ways it's as arbitrary as like having particular expectations and behavioral standards and all that for short people or tall people or fat people or skinny people or anything like that. When I think we all pretty much agree that for the most part, treating one another more or less with the same bounds of respect and comfortability is probably what's in society's best interest. That's gender roles more than gender. Nope, that's gender. Gender is gender roles. Gender is no more complicated than the roles to which we are assigned on the basis of our presumed gender or the one that we identify with. Now, that's not to say you can't buck these assumptions. That's not to say you can't reinterpret your particular impression of gender to be something different. Lots of people do. I do. But gender is ultimately a social thing. It's something that comes out of socialization. Oh, I'm getting real sleepy. I'm going to have to get off here soon. Once again, if you enjoy the channel, please consider donating. If you can't afford to donate, at least hit that like button and hit that share. Send me to some social medias that aren't just YouTube. That would be great. Get my name and face out there. You know, it's the best way you can help me thrive in this rapidly changing economy. Common gender explanations are 7th grade level. That's like saying AD in Algebra 1 is the same as dual PhD physicist. What now? Top scientists in the field struggle to define gender. You did receive $5 yet no song. Oh yeah, I did. I did lower the price, didn't I? Oh, I shouldn't have fucking promised that because my hand hurts. Oh. Top scientists in the field struggle to define gender. Yeah, I mean it's like that's why I think the simplistic definition is the best one. Because like at least it helps you to understand the concept conceptually. You don't gotta. Well, I should. Don't like that. Well, it's little enough that it could be bridge lift that was there from the factory and I've just never noticed it. But I should keep an eye on it. Ow. Shakedown 1979. Cool kids never have the time. On a live wire right up off the street, you and I should meet. Justine skipping like a stone, with the headlights pointed at the dawn. We were sure we'd never see an end to it all, and we don't even care to shake these hip-hop blues, and we don't know just where our bones will rest. Dust, I guess, forgotten, buried in the dust below. Double cross the vacant and the bored. We weren't sure just what we were looking for. 4 feet city slipping dudes down to sea. But we don't even care, as restless as we are, and we found love in the land of 1,000 gifts and poured some men, restless and assured, to the dust and towns below. Faster than the speed of sound, faster than we thought we'd go, beneath the shroud of hope. Justine never knew the rules. She hung out with us freaks and ghouls. No apologies ever need be made. I know you better than you fake it to see. We don't even care to shake these hip-hop blues, and we where our bones will rest in dust, I guess. Lamented and assured in dust, you know. Motion sickness? All right. I hate you for what you did, and I miss you like a little kid. I fainted head. I'm gonna have to turn the make it a little higher. Hold on. I hate you for what you did. I miss you like a little kid. I fainted every time, but that's alright. What was the line? Damn it! No! Hold on. Fuck. I'm having trouble remembering the fucking words. I'm getting it confused, the second verse, and I know I am, but I can't remember what the first verse. Hold on, I'll remember in 1 second. Or stanza or whatever. Oh, okay, I remember. All right. I hate you for what you did, and I miss you like a little kid. I fainted every time, but that's alright. I can hardly feel anything, hardly feel anything at all. Gave me 1,600 to see your hypnotherapist. I only went one time, but that's alright. Fell on hard times here ago. I was hoping you would let it go. You did. I have emotional motion sickness. Try to stick me. Somebody roll the window know I'm never gonna let you have it. I'm on the inside looking through. You're throwing rocks around your room, and while I'm leaning on the back of the glass, I'll be glad that I made it out. I'm sorry that it all worked out like it did. I have motion sickness. Somebody roll the windows down. There are no words in the English language. I could try to drown you out. And why do you sing with an English accent? I guess it's too late to change it now. You know I'm never gonna let you have it, and I will try to drown you out. You said when you met me, you were bored. You said when you met me, you were bored, and you were in a band when I was born. I have motion sickness. Try to stay clean and live without. And I wonder what would happen if I surrendered to the sound. Didn't like how it sounded there at the end, but whatever. We played it. We got through it. Phoebe, have you heard of the indie punk rhythm game Unbeatable? It's really fucking good. I'm actually in love with it. I have not. I have not. Aww. Moments like these are the stuff they play during pulling heartstring moments of biographic documentaries. Damn, that just made like all kinds of visions go through my head of like, you know, damn. I don't know why, but the documentary that played in my head was like, you know, the destroyed life of Phoebe Opie, how a crazy YouTuber gave herself away to fucking whatever crazy drug I eventually die from an overdose on. I'm kidding. That was mean. I shouldn't have said that. It was wrong. All right, I'm sorry. That was wrong of me. My cat is so slumped right now. He can't even stand up. I love it when a kitty is that tired, though. It's so cute. It's like, what were you doing all day to be this tired? Fuck. Phoebe, you can't do this to our parasocial asses. You're right. You're right. What am I doing? Play with fire. Screaming and fighting to eat my fucking chicken and rice. That is fucking hilarious, dude. Dude, Taylor, do you remember that fucking time when Castro, our little kitten, leaped through the air like Superman and grabbed a chicken tender as you were praising how good the fried chicken was, right out of your hand? Leapt through the air, grabbed it right out of your hand, landed on the table, looked back at you, and then fucking took off into the kitchen. You remember that shit, dog? Stole the bologna off my sandwich, swiped it through the bread. Yeah, dude. That little bastard, bro. I've never seen a cat more dedicated to getting human food. And I've seen some fucking pretty dedicated cats, but goddamn. Misfits or Danzig debate? Misfits. Proof? Suck my dick and balls. I'm kidding. I don't know that I have a strong stance on this debate. You guys have really fucking blown out the fucking likes tonight, so you guys are awesome for that. You guys have also been pretty generous tonight compared to how donations been recently, so I appreciate that. We'll play one last call, or we'll play one last song. If you've enjoyed the music and if you enjoyed the experience, you got a little money, you know what to do. Otherwise, I'm just going to play one more song, and we'll have like one more minute of conversation, and we'll get out of here. Let me think here. Got a cupboard with cans of food, bottled water, and pictures of you. And I'm not coming out until this is all over. And I'm looking through the glass as the light bends at the cracks. And I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, pretending that the echoes belong to someone. Someone that I used to know. And will become silhouettes till the bodies finally go. Wanted to walk through the empty streets, feel something solid underneath my feet. But all the radio reports recommended that I stay indoors, because the air outside will make yourself divided and alarming gray. And the boils underneath our skin will expel the fluid till we explode. And it won't be a pretty sight. And we'll become That'll be enough for one night, I think. I think so. I just chug my water, now my stomach goes swish. Yay, swish. So I do want to ask, why did you pick Phoebe? What were the reasons or inspiration? Literally, I'm a simple-minded bitch. I have thought that Phoebe was a really pretty name for a long time, and my favorite musician, probably of all time, like just like based on amount of music she's put out and the amount of it I've liked, Phoebe Bridgers is like the coolest person fucking ever. And she's kind of like inspirational to me, I guess. So it was like a natural choice, I felt like. For me anyway. I guess really it was just came down to the fact that I've always thought it was a really pretty name, and there's a really awesome bass musician named Phoebe Bridgers that I was listening to a lot of her music during the year that I came out, and that it just very much like stuck. It was very you know fair, valid, and based. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Anyway, I suppose we will be getting off here now. If you have enjoyed the stream, make sure you've hit that like button. Make sure that the bell is rang so that you get all my notifications. And, if you've ever got a little bit of pocket change spoiling in your pocket, let me know. No, don't let me know, but send it my way if you want to and feel like I've earned it. Otherwise, you guys are great. It's fun doing these, and I'm glad that we've got this platform where we can all hang out. Pretty cool. I will see you guys around later. Good night. Bye.